Nomadland follows Fern, a woman in her 60s who loses her job, her husband, and her town after the gypsum plant in Empire, Nevada shuts down. With nowhere to go, she packs her belongings into a van and sets off across the American West, taking seasonal work and sleeping in parking lots, deserts, and campgrounds. Along the way, she meets others like her, people who are displaced by a system that has no use for them. They work at Amazon warehouses, they clean public restrooms, and live out of their vehicles. Chloé Zhao directs the film with a quiet patience, blurring fiction and documentary to capture a portrait of people living in the margins. What stands out most about Nomadland is its humanity. Zhao doesn't force a message or moral. She simply observes. Every person Fern meets, Swanky, Linda May, Bob Wells, has their own story of loss, and the film lets those moments breathe. These are individuals who have been ignored by society, yet on the road they find community through mutual aid. They trade advice, they share food, and they fix each other's vans. And in their world, survival depends on trust. Zhao presents this community without pity. It's as much about solitude and endurance as it is about companionship. The film's foundation is economic collapse. It takes place after the 2007 housing crisis, when factories closed, towns emptied, and the working class was left to fend for itself. Fern's wandering is not a lifestyle choice, but it is a necessity. She works for minimum wages that barely covers gas and groceries. She lives paycheck to paycheck without health insurance or a safety net. That is the quiet tragedy of Nomadland. It shows a generation of Americans who did everything right, yet lost everything anyway. Yet the film's beauty lies in how it finds dignity in all of the despair. The vast deserts and open highways aren't just scenic, they become metaphors for endurance. Chloé Zhao's cinematography contrasts the smallness of her characters against the scale of the land. In that emptiness, Fern begins to rebuild her sense of self. Some see her life on the road as liberation, a form of healing after grief. Others see it as exile. It is seen as a life stripped of security and romanticized by those who will never live it. Both of these analyses are true. Fern's independence is admirable, but it comes from loss, not freedom. The tension is where the film's critique lies. Chloé Zhao's restraint is deliberate. She avoids overt political commentary, but her silence speaks volumes. We see elderly people working grueling shifts and sleeping in vans, yet the film stops short of condemning the system that put them there. This decision makes Nomadland emotionally honest but politically soft. It risks turning poverty into poetry. The film's elegance can make hardship look beautiful when it isn't. Some viewers may find that troubling, and they should. Even so, Zhao's approach carries weight. Casting real nomads who played themselves adds a layer of authenticity that no actor can replicate. Their faces, stories, and voices ground the film in truth. McDormand's restrained performance complements them perfectly. She doesn't dramatize Fern's suffering, she lives in it. The film becomes less about plot and more about observation, about how people persist, about how people adapt, and how they keep their dignity when the world looks away. Because sometimes people living in poverty or people living in despair is too hard for people to look at and makes them uncomfortable. Yet you see these people living their lives beautifully together in harmony without a second thought or without any sense of discomfort, but living together as one, as a community. Nomadland is not a film about escape. It is about endurance. Chloé Zhao captures the moral exhaustion of a country that prizes freedom but abandons its poor. Fern's life on the road mirrors what many Americans face today, working hard and moving constantly but never feeling secure. With the end of SNAP benefits looming over many families' heads, especially in Atlanta, there are many people that are confronting the same hunger and instability that is depicted here in the film. What Zhao shows on screen is no longer symbolic, but it's happening right now. The message is very simple. People survive because of each other. Just as the nomads form their own fragile network of care, the Atlanta Community Food Bank stands as a modern version of that same principle. In a nation where safety nets are torn apart, community becomes the last refuge. Nomadland reminds us that even in the loneliest places, compassion still matters, and dignity can exist, even when everything else is gone.